What's up, everybody? Orion here. Today, I've got a new movie review for you guys. It's been a while since I've done one of these. The summer didn't bring too many movies that I wanted to review and watch, so it's been a little bit since I did one of these for a newer movie. But here we are today with the newest film to talk about and review, and it is a Marvel MCU film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I've been looking forward to this movie for so long. And guys, if you enjoy this review, be sure to hit that like and subscribe and share this video. I would greatly appreciate that. So let's jump right into the review. So I overall really enjoyed this movie. I had a great time. I think that this is a solid, good MCU film. I would say it is definitely one of the top MCU movies out there. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not one of the top 5 MCU movies. All right, I'm not going that far as, top MCU films that we've gotten out of the, I think it is now 26 films that we've gotten so far. It's definitely not top 5, but I would almost potentially go as far to say that this is maybe a top 10. It's really, really solid. I really had a good time watching this. I thought the filmmaking was on point all throughout this movie. The fight scenes were epic as hell. I really enjoyed the fight scenes. Now, there are some people who are saying that this movie has the best fight scenes out in the entire MCU. I would say that is semi-accurate. I don't want to go that far to say that it is the definitive best fight scenes just yet. I think I'm going to have to rewatch this movie again and then go back and look at every other film that has had the better fight scenes. But for right now, I do have to say that this movie does an epic job with the fight scenes, especially considering that this is the first time we're seeing martial arts used in the MCU from that perspective. And the fight scenes are really good. One shots, close, wides, and so that you can see everything going on. This is how you shoot action. The way that this movie does shoot action, that is how you shoot action, so that you can see what's going on screen, not with all the shaky cam and all that crap. You want to be able to see what's going on, especially with martial arts, especially with how much time and effort that these guys put into their fights. And I applaud the director for doing that for these fights. I mean, it was a really good job, and I think the acting is on point. I think everybody does their job, especially our newer characters who are played by Simu Liu, Awkwafina, and Tony Leung as the Mandarin. I thought everybody did an amazing job from an acting perspective. I think they really brought it. I think Simu Liu as an actor is going to be someone that people end up really liking in the MCU going forward. I think, honestly, I'm trying to look for nitpicks. I mean, CGI in this movie was, I would say the CGI in this movie was about as MCU of CGI as you could possibly get. The CGI was good. I mean, I can't really find any inherent flaws with the CGI in this film. I think there were a few times where I could tell it was very, very obvious green screen. But even then, it didn't look that bad. It just looked obvious that you could tell it was green screen. But other than that, the CGI for me was pretty well done in this movie. So those are really everything that I just listed off. It just really makes for a solid film. Now, if I had to come up with any nitpicks or issues with this film, of which there are very, very little, if anything. I know a lot of people will probably not find too many problems with this film. I think, honestly, if there are any issues that people will end up coming together to agree on for this film, it will most likely be the pacing in the second half of the film, where the middle part is kind of slower, and it doesn't drag, but it does kind of come across as okay, we're at a standstill now. We're not going to do too much here. And so that you could kind of feel it. At least I felt it anyway. There's also a part in the third act of which I will not spoil. I will do a spoiler review for this movie tomorrow, guys. But there's a part of the third act that revolves something happening in the sky during the final battle. I'm not going to say what it is, but at first, it kind of took me out of the movie, and then looking back on it, it was actually pretty epic from a certain perspective, if I have to be honest. Again, I did feel like it might take me out of the movie a little bit, and if I had to guess, I feel like that part of the third act might be 50-50 maybe potentially for a lot of people. It might take some people out of the film. It might not. A lot of people might enjoy it. But yeah, that was just my first inkling at first. Like, it was like, wait, really? They're doing this? And so, it kind of took me by surprise. And then the third and final thing that I had to come up with, that personally I was really confused and intrigued, because it was a character that I was wondering if there was so much more behind him. Or her, for that matter. I mean, we don't even know who's behind the mask, and it's this guy or girl on screen right now. If you're looking at this picture, this character right here, I will not say too much, but he or she, again, I don't know who's behind the mask. They're not really in the movie all that much, and I'm not going to say why. But they're not really in the movie all that much, and I feel like in the trailers you would see that Shang-Chi is having fights with this character quite a bit, and, I mean, there is a great fight between them in the movie, but not much else really ends up happening with this character, and I will explain why in spoilers. So just be on the lookout for that. So that was the thing. I kind of didn't find too much in this character of why he or she was there. It kind of did feel like a little bit of a waste. Maybe not so much, but hey, sometimes characters just have to be side characters for a lot of the time. And the last thing I will say is that the villain part of this movie, and we're going back to good things now, I think that this movie does a really good job with the villain. I think this might actually be one of the top villains in all of the MCU, which is the Mandarin, played by Tony Leung. He is very good in this film, and I could tell he was very menacing during a lot of the film. I could tell that there was emotion behind some of the more subtle moments. It felt like a good villain to me. Like, this is a top MCU villain for me. And so overall, and the story's good too. I didn't mind the story at all. I think the story's pretty solid for what they were trying to do. Yeah, but guys, I can't wait to talk about this movie in spoilers. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in spoilers. So I'm going to leave it at that. And overall, guys, if I had to give a verdict for this film, it is a 9 out of 10. I really enjoy this movie. It's a solid MCU movie. I don't really know how anybody could dislike this movie, because right now the movie is getting great responses from our people. The critics absolutely love it. The audiences absolutely love it. I'm pretty sure it might still be at 99% on Rotten Tomatoes for audience score. People love this movie. So I would be shocked to find that many people out there who didn't like it. So overall, guys, that's all I got to say from a non-spoiler perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate that. Share the video, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the spoiler review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. All right, everybody. Peace out.